This is the Sargent EC155, and these are just some of the electronics that you're going to need to be able to get a basic electronic setup in your campervan. So looking over here, this is an EC155 by Sargent, and it is a power control unit that's designed to allow you to have electronics in your vehicle, your caravan, whatever. Now, this unit costs around £300. It comes with all the wiring needed. Some people will go the whole constructing it from scratch approach. I, on the other hand, didn't feel particularly comfortable in my current level of knowledge to be able to assemble that. Now, it's taken a hell of a lot of research, a lot of thinking time to get my head around exactly what's happening and how it all goes together, and I believe I've finally got to the level where I'm going to be able to install this and also help those of you that are wanting to install in your own van. Now, this will obviously be targeted towards the people who've bought this unit. So the reason I'm making this video is because this isn't quite as straightforward as some people would have you believe. Now, there are obviously those people out there that know what's what, and to them this is so easy it's not even worth thinking about. They could just look at it and do it. Me, on the other hand, I couldn't. Now, this comes with wiring diagrams, which if you look at, it kind of makes some sort of logical sense. That's all well and good. You kind of understand what things are. You know, you can label it up where it goes to, but there are gaps in that that little manual, that little book, that I believe are quite crucial. Like, for example, how do you connect this directly to a battery? What are these orange and white wires for, and where do they go? Other things we're going to be looking at is this, which is an MPPT solar charge controller, which is going to be an absolute doddle to install, I believe. And then we've got a remote meter, and we've also got the small remote control panel for that as well. So to start you off, for those people that are still speculating as to which direction to go into, this cost £300. The kit I got came with the unit, the wiring looms, and it also came with like a remote control unit for it. Why did I choose this as opposed to going the homemade route? Right, first off, it looks nice, compact, and everything is right there made for you. You've got, everything's got its place. It's got information on it about what amps are what, and it's also got, you know, these two nice little windows that are easily accessible. You've got your switches on. It's a nice self-contained unit that does all the things that I wanted to do in one small compact place. Some of its key features is that it's inside, it's got a 12 volt panel. There are all the fuses for the 12 volt wires. And inside this one, we've got a 40 amp RCD with two 10 amp MCBs and a 6 amp MCB for like a fridge or a boiler. Inside, it's also got a battery charger to keep your batteries topped up while it's plugged in, a hookup point. And there's various other features. If you're looking at that, you'll either know straight away whether it's something that you'd consider or not. Now, I'm not trying to sell this to you, and I don't work for Sargent or anything like that, so that's as much as I feel like you'd need to know. It already comes pretty much plug and play, as they call it, ready to go. So everything's got its place, and they've all got spade connectors and whatnot on the end already, so you shouldn't have to be cutting and soldering or cutting and adding connectors on or anything like that. However, I believe I will be, and many other people I've spoken to also do that, so that they've not got this massive bundle of wires just sitting around inside the cupboard. Now, how does it work? Well, the orange wire, this is very basic at the minute, but the orange wire goes to your hookup on the side of your van. The coloured strands have all got their place in a wiring diagram that have been designed to go to certain things, and those certain wires and certain things have got appropriate sized fuses to cover in the event of a short or anything. Now, before we go and start installing all of the power supply units and solar charge controllers and all that sort of stuff, I'm going to make sure that I've got everything in place ready to be wired to. So although the van's not finished and I've not really done the decorating side of things, things can always be moved aside, but I would like to have certain things in their place pretty much so that I can start wiring to those appliances. Jumping forward to another day, decided that never fit one of these before. Didn't think it through, realised there was a back box that were meant to go on it that I didn't have. I had this just lying around in a carrier bag in me like art house shed thing, and I thought I'll use it. Didn't realise that it needed a back box. So I had to go and buy either a back box for it or a new socket anyway, and I thought, well, I didn't really want white anyway, so I've just taken the plunge. I've gone and got another socket. So I've got this one. I've just put these screws in just so I don't lose them. So yeah, it's 3-pin plug, switch, and we've got 2 USBs sockets there. There we go, we've got it fitting. Now, down here in this big bundle of wires, the yellow one is a 10 amp wire. I've found the wire, I've untangled it, I've threaded it through the wall down there. There we go. Now I've deemed that the bottom of the socket because the 2 screws are on the side, not that way around. So my wire is going to come in here. They come with these ends on the EC155. I've been told that it's specially just for safety reasons and they can't provide a wire with bare ends in case you were stupid enough to plug it in and then not realised that they're now live. So that's more there. Obviously it'll plug into something, I'm not sure what, but it's more there for you to have to work out what you're doing before you turn the electric on. So anyway, enough blibber blabber. So just chop that end off. There we go. Now inside you can see 3 wires. So I don't actually need this massive length of wire. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just trim it down first. There we go. That. Neutral. Live, earth. My earth's a bit short because usually they've got a bit of a reach around, so if I just get a Stanley knife I'll make that a bit longer. But if I just cut down a little bit, I should be able to make that longer. Underneath there, and then I'm going to poke it through the wall. So we got brown, blue, green and yellow. That's it. I've given them a little tug, made sure that they're in there properly, and I'm just going to stick them in. The orange is the electric hookup. A black is a 6 amp one, which I'm not going to use. They recommend you use it for a fridge. I'm not going to use that 6 amp one. So we've got a 10 amp white and a 10 amp yellow. The yellow goes to the socket on the outside. The white one goes to the socket up there. So that's the 230 side of things sorted. Now, when it comes to the 12 volt stuff, what I've done is I've actually looked through the book, and the book tells you exactly what wires are for what. So I'll show you where it is. Back page of the book, and it shows you not only what the outside of the big connector that goes into the unit looks like, but it also shows you what each number is. If we have a look through these tables, is go through it and then tape on to each wire what that is. Then you're not referring to the book all the time. Now I've got two distinct piles. I'm only going to use a few, so they're the ones I'm going to use. And over here, these are the ones that I'm not going to use, apart from the orange and white ones, which I actually will. So now I've decided roughly what I'm going to use. I'm going to get each individual strand and separate it so that we've not got a massive knot of wires that we're going to be pulling on each other when you try and put them where you want. There is a positive and a negative on a 12 volt system. So the positive, the live, goes to the device, whatever it is, and then the negative would go back to the battery terminal via the van. So some people argue against it, but many other people tend to do it without any problems, and that's the way I'm going to do it. Now this system that I've got, this Sargent system, they come with a ground wire. It attaches to the unit and then to the vehicle body. The next wires I'm going to use are 12 volt sockets, and both of them are yellow and white, so that makes things nice and easy. They're going to go to both the USBs and the cigarette lighter. Put them up there, so we've got luckily I could get access easily behind that because I've not flattened it off yet. Wires go down there, along the floor and into the cupboard. I've ran all the wires to that, but they're not in it yet. I've got a white 10 amp wire that leads to the 3-pin 230 stuff. I've got a yellow and white wire going up to the USB sockets. And then I've got another yellow and white wire going up to the other cigarette lighter socket. And then I've just ran two orange and white negatives, taking them back. On this wire, this one that goes up and over, that's a purple and black wire. That is for a pump. And there is a switch for it. And the switch is there. That I've run negative wire to as well with to join onto the pump. Then we've got the pink and grey, well the pink and slate wires with a very fat negative going up and over there, and it goes up and it's going to go up the top, and then there's going to be a light on the bottom, there's going to be a light inside, and there's going to be another light inside that one, I'm thinking now, because there's 4 wires. So that's 3, and then a 4th I'm not sure what to do with yet. This grey and black one is for the remotes up there. I've just coiled them up rather than cutting them. And I've also coiled a couple of negatives left over up as well. So it's all nice and clean down here now. You can see all these ends here. They've all got caps on. So I've got a big bundle of wires with caps on there. And I've coiled up the black 6 amp wire as well. For me, that is all of the 12 volt and 230 volt wiring to the components. That doesn't include anything to the leisure battery just yet, or the solar. I actually made a mistake and forgot to solder the switches that go under the floor to there, which go to the light. So I've had to re-solder on this one, which is a slate and grey one, not that you can see it very well, and it goes, which is a permanent light feed, and can be operated with a control panel, and it goes into the 2 wires, 2 lives. So today we're going to get the batteries and the solar hooked up. So the 12 volts almost pretty much in place now, so now I just need to get the 12 volts actually hooked up so they've got some power going to them. So first thing that I need to concentrate on doing is cutting into the solar panel live, and on that solar panel live, I'm going to put one of these. It's a battery isolator switch. I think it's rated up to 100 amps. Don't quote me on that. There's no writing on here. I only feel like I've read that somewhere. But yeah, it's all I've got, so it's what I'm going to use. Further down the line, nearer the battery end, I'm going to use this. It's a maxi fuse. I don't seem to see anybody using these on all van build pages. But yeah, this is a maxi fuse. I've put a 40 amp fuse in it. So yeah, I'm going to cut into the live and I'm going to put these two on it. That's the first plan. I've made a little box. It's very, very rough, but who cares? It's going to do the job. All I need now is to cut the wires, put them on there. So there we go, we've got 43.3 volts coming through on there. And if I turn my isolate switch off, hopefully this means that I don't get any. Nope, there's nothing changing on there. So that means it works. On the Sargent, the leisure battery wires are blue and brown. They come together with a spade connector on the end, just like the rest of them. I've cut the spade connector off, and then I've also threaded on this tube. You're supposed to use a proper tool for these, but I actually just use the yellow one of them on the ratchet tool, and then just to like over crimp it, I use this where my thumb is, sort of like protruding bit around the U, and it's done it fine. I've pulled it very, very hard and it's not come off. I was going to drip some solder down inside there as well for like extra security, but that's fine to me. I'm going to slide this over the top. It's coming together, guys. We've got a heat shrink on, 2 wires into one, covered by conduit, into a maxi fuse that's going to have a 40 amp in, and then that's going to go around to the battery. I'm not doing the battery end just yet though. And then this is the positive solar wire, so I've put a red cable tie on it there just so that I know what it is. Maxi fuse again, this is going to have another 40 amp in it, this one. To this side, I connected it there with a yellow but slice connector, and then now we're on this end. This end is going to have between it another one of these isolator switches. Oh, I've also done the negative line, which is here, so I've connected it to the like remove quick release things, quick release clips for the terminal, and then I've got in there, I don't know if you can see, I've got a solar wire negative and I've got the ground negative going into it. There we go, nice and tidy. Stick that on there. So I've got my end. Because this is only 4mm PV cable, I'm just going to bend it over like that. I'm going to get my eyelet, which is M10 I think. M10 hole in the middle. Then I'm going to get some heat shrink on there. Slide that down, get it on nice and tight, and then these actually work with the yellow crimpers. Put that in there. Gonna slide up your heat shrink. There we go. That's that done. Just make sure that bottom one's tight actually first. The other one of the other ones weren't. Right, to ground it, that's my grounding wire, but the ring on the end isn't big enough for the bolt that I've got. So luckily, I've just been to the shop and I've got a M12 ring connector, and that is going to go in my van. I've been told by many people now to go to a solid point in your van. Now my solid point is just, it's my point down there. So that screw at the back was originally where the bulkhead went in. That is a bolt for one of the seatbelt clips, and it's really thick. You can see it goes way down, so it's not just thin sheet metal. And I've just cleaned up the area with the wire brush on end of drill. Well, the ends of them, which are going to be grounded to a bolt, well, the bolt, as the same with the other one, it's the big chunky one. It's not going to go through the middle of those rings, so I'm going to cut the ends off of those, both of those, join the wires together and shove them through a bigger ring. So we've got that one which goes to there, and then that's the negative MPPT and the main ground from the battery, and then that one is the ground from the Sargent unit. I'm just going to port that through the cupboard under there to where the seat bolts are around the back, and I'm going to put them both on the bolt and then tie them down. I've done the negatives, these are just the lives I've got left. So we've got live blue and brown wire to the Sargent, and then this is the live from the solar panel with a battery cut-off switch. Actually, that could have probably been done with being on both of them. This is the final configuration before I take the ends off the wire and put it onto the red battery clip. This. So that's going to go on the end of there, like that. But what I've done now is I've put the ring connectors on, ring terminals, into that switch. I think they're rated to 100 amp anyway, so it should be fine, I think. I think. I have to double check it afterwards, but we've got fuse, vehicle, solar, into an isolation switch to the battery. So if I need to, I can either turn the solar off or I can turn the battery off, so I can work on anywhere in between. I've probably just spent a couple of hours making something that's overly elaborate, but that's the finished article. So what we've got is we've got a slot for the seat belt, we've got straps to hold the battery in place, and then we've got the floor, and then underneath we've got a second layer. I've sandwiched it with that, and that's just to hide the straps and make it look a little bit neater. It's getting late now, and I think I might have done. So we've got 4 leads going to there, we've got the maxi connector, the maxi fuse even, getting tired, and then it all goes down there nice and neatly. And then I've got my box here that I've just finished tweaking to make sure it fits nicely. And I'm pretty much ready now to put it all in, see how it goes. This is where it says on fire. Right, that's on. Wait, 1 minute.
Nothing's happened.
No, nothing. Nothing should happen because it's all off, isn't it? Right, and then I also need to send it somewhere. Oh yes, somebody, you'll see these. You'll see these. Look. Oh, it's saying my battery's either empty or it's not getting a reading. That were all working, but it was saying there weren't any battery. And I've come out here thinking, oh, let's have a fiddle, and I've realised bloody fuses had it in.
PPT's come on. Well, this is not on.
Well, there's not much battery in it, look. It's saying there's a battery. Go on.
Did I just turn it to the side?
It's saying there's 12.6 volts in battery, so it is charged. Is yours on?
I think so. I've twisted it until like, I can't twist it anymore.
I don't think any lights are supposed to come on that anyway. And then I think I'm supposed to turn it on with that, if it's working. No, that's not working. Why would that not work? That's on, isn't it? MPPT's definitely connected now though, and that means the battery's working. It's saying that it's 13 volts. It's going up. It's going up. That was 12.6 a minute ago, so solar's charging it.
So why aren't lights?
That's not working. And I'm sure I'll find out why. It's the morning now, I'm just trying to problem solve. So I tested the battery with a multimeter from terminal to terminal. Then I tested the switch, the back ends of the switch. Then I tested the fuse, and all that looked like it was showing that something was going on. And then I came to this unit here, and what I've done is I found one of the wires, so like that one there, and I've stuck it to like an earth to complete the circuit. 1 minute, I can't see from this angle. I still can't see. Right, I just touched it then, but as you can see down there, it's saying 14.3, and if you look up here on my solar charge controller, that's saying 14.4. Now they were matching a minute ago, but they seem to sort of fluctuate between that point, the last point on the end, but that is matching what it's saying on the controller and what's coming in. So at least I know that, well, at least I think that it's not my wiring that's causing the problem, but it's actually now between this unit and that controller. So I'm going to take that down, and I'm going to plug this back in, and then I'm going to make sure everything's in as tight as it can go, nothing's loose, and then I'm going to try it again, and I'll let you know what happens. Okay guys, we've got it sorted. It turns out that even though none of us seem to be able to find it on the drawing, it turns out that we need an orange and white negative to go to the ground as well, or to the negative terminal. So I can only assume that that would be the negative for the 12 volt, and the yellow and green is the grounding, the earthing for the 230 stuff. That's all I can think as to why it's not worked. I've just had to drive up to the guy I bought it from, UK Leisure Parts, for him to tell me that you should be connecting an orange and white wire. Anyway, I've also discovered another stupid mistake. Don't know why I didn't think of it sooner. Up there, which I've been saying for like the last 10 videos, is a ground point. Actually, that's a bloody aerial. That's where my aerial is. So that's not a ground point. So I'm just going to put one up there somewhere, I think. That's that. Oh, I'm already an idiot. It's on.
Ooh.
Let it beep. And let me turn solar on while we're at it now. Treat ourselves. Right, where's that control panel? Following wire. And it leads. Where does it lead? There. Right, are we ready for this? Oh yeah! Right, saying I've got a full battery. So So that is how you turn water pump on, and that is how you turn lights on. Did you hear it click? Listen. Clicks down there, and now it don't work. I heard something click down. I'm just trying to fault find again. So we've got the electric working. It turns on and off and switches over to leisure battery, and the water pump clicks when you turn that, all that sort of stuff. It all seems to work. Now that the lights are blowing, I'm not sure why. Just while I can, thought I'd just connect up some other bits and bobs. So we've got purple and black wire going to this switch, and then the brown wire coming out of the switch into the pump, and then the blue neutral wire is connected to the negative. And then at first I wondered why it was either only on or off, but then I realised there was some like mechanical resistance actually inside the tap itself. So this at the minute is a switch saying on or off, and it's also a mechanical switch that allows more or less through. So which one's more full? Let's just sort these out. And you can hear the water filling up in there. I had a short that was blowing all my fuses, and it turns out that that light, I'd pulled all the other ones out and they were all dangling, and that one light I'd not pulled out, and funnily enough that one light, spade connectors were exposed, touching the vapour barrier, touching this, and so it was tripping it and blowing the fuse. So we've tested them out and that all works fine as well now. I was struggling to get this switch to switch on, and it turned out it were alive to the bottom of there. So yeah, it's all been very electrical for the last couple of days. I've been spending too much money. I've got, last couple of days I've spent 600 quid. I've bought another battery, so we've got 2 batteries. I've bought a battery to battery charger. I've got that were 150 quid. I've bought a new battery, new terminals, that's another 100 quid. And then this MPPT controller down here is a 10 amp controller. And I had a phone call from Photonic Universe who sold it me. And told me that I'd been given some bad advice on buying a second solar panel for that controller, and said that it's not that it's particularly dangerous, but I'm not getting all that I can get out of it, and he also said that it wasn't good for it basically, and that I needed a 20 amp. So I decided, well, instead of going for a 20 amp in case I had any more solar in future, I'll just get a 30 amp one for the sake of 10-15 quid or whatever it were. So I've got to take that all back off, package it back up and send it back to them. I've had to buy the other one outright first, and then they're going to refund that back on. I've bought another light to go under cabinet, because those rolls of lights that I had, those LED rolls of lights, were absolutely just cheapest rubbish ever. Then I've bought a mattress, and I've bought that disc lock there, another 120 quid, mattress for 130 quid, because we've got super king size. So down the back of here we've got the incoming wires from the solar coming out of the floor there, and then we've got the wires going to the battery there. Then we've got the hook up going to the port there, you can see the light going through the thing. Then we've got grounded earth, which is yellow. Then we've got lots of these ones that I've cut off and put butt ends on, put like butt connectors on it. And then I've tried to make it as neat as possible, so it looks a little bit messy down here, but it is kind of, it's all got its place and it's all kind of tight. Well, with a bit of slack so it doesn't ruin the leads. And then it all comes up here. So up here we've got little separate holes drilled for each wire, and they go into the sockets up there. And then we've got, it goes along through that up there, up to this light, and it's hidden behind this thingy there. And then we've also got a light I've just put in there as well. So, and then lastly we've got this purple one going around the corner. Now for those people that have got this Sargent unit, let me show you how much wire I took off it. So I don't have a shower, I don't have a fan, roof fan, and I'm not using the diesel heater, and I don't have hobs. So you might be thinking, oh, it's not much of a camper van, but it's what we want it to be. So this is how much wires I took off. You can see there's a lot there. I've got all sorts of various different ones, and I've saved them all like this, so that when it comes to adding those things in, which we will do eventually over time, I'd imagine, we've got them wires there to do it with. Moment of truth. Oh my lord. I've only gone and done it. Let's see if it turns on and off. Yeah. Oh my god. That's it. I am one happy guy. It's been a long time coming. Oh yeah, we've got a light there, and we've got a light in there. Oh yes, good, eh, Waffy? This one is like a touch one. It's a bit weird. It's got like a button inside there. So happy. That was like a momentous thing for me, that. At the minute, I've got those quick release terminal clamps on, but I'm going to put some of these on instead. So I've got two of them, and I've got these two too. So what I'm planning on doing is joining them in parallel, so it would be positive to positive, negative to negative. Put these ends on. I've been given a bit of advice from auto electrician, and that is to cut a groove down and solder the wire in there as well as the screws, and it'll give a better connection. And then I'm just going to put some tape on afterwards, some heat shrink. There you go, negative wire, positive wire, ready to go in. This was the quick release that I had before, and I just didn't like them. They were very loose. It seemed to sit tight even when you tightened it. So what I've done is I've had to extend this wire, so there is a couple of joins in there, and cut the ends. Voila!
Do you want a business? No, me. Go away, Anna. Okay, bye. Bye. Let me see that.
I'm just filming a video of what it looks like. So today, Charles,
Yeah.
Daddy's done the batteries.
Yeah.
I've made them into a big double battery now.
Yeah.
And I've done loads of little bits around the side as well.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
That's good then, isn't it? We're winning if you like it.
Can I see my video?
1 minute, I'm not done with it yet. Look, nice and neat down there, look.
Yes, Daddy. I could do it.
Push. Whoa! What's that?
I don't know. I can't do it.
Have you done it? Oh! There you go, look.
It's in here. Whoa! Look, Dad.
What is it? Oh, that's where the water's going to be. No, it opens the other way. Wait, let's shut this one. It opens over there, but I've not put a handle on it yet. Ooh. Are you having a nosy? Gonna sit at a table, see what it looks like.
What's it?
It's the button for the drawer.
And water. Water.
Oh, what's that?
Look.
Piece of wood. That's what the van's made out of.